There we are. We are live. It is 8:01 p.m. Eastern, 5:01 p.m. Pacific, 1:01 a.m. in the UK. I'm Ben Coombs, and welcome to the Sunday Night Hang. And hanging with me tonight is, I'm going to say, a newer friend. Tim and I here have known each other a few weeks now. Mr. Tim Lewis of TL Pedals Canada, folks. He's new, but he's good. Welcome, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks Ben. It's pretty cool to be on here. I guess this is my second live stream, so it's still pretty new for me too, man.
Awesome. Well, we won't be too hard on you at all. So I'm going to do a roll call here and see who we have in the chat. We have Mr. Brian Landreth, front row, Adam D, Peter DeBad, Milt T, Martin's in the house. Robot Master Switch is back because he showed up a day early yesterday. I think he was getting into the secret stash there, but I don't know. I don't judge. Mr. Butt Cheeks himself, Brendan B. Squared, Thomas Santiago, Mark Taft, Brack Stubblefield is here, Amp Top Demos. My chat skipped ahead. JP Page 2, Terry's GG&G. Let's see here. All right, we got everybody down there, and yeah, we are caught up. Awesome. 21 people watching already. So if you have questions regarding pedals, you can ask myself, you can ask Tim, you can ask each other in the chat, but that makes it harder on us. So please ask us. So, hey, Joseph D'Angelo tuning in. So, Tim, Stinger Fuzz, quite the versatile little fuzz box, we'll call it, because it's more than just fuzz.
Yeah, I was actually looking through some of my charts I was using to pick for that mid control just earlier tonight, and man, I think that really opens up that whole pedal to a bunch of different options. You know, if somebody gets sick of it or something, they can really dial a bunch of different sounds in with it.
I agree. Yeah, we were talking off air, folks. A little teaser for tomorrow night. Lawrence Petross Lost Dutchman into the Stinger Fuzz. Oh, it's a beautiful tone, folks. You'll have to tune in tomorrow night. I'll use that tone live. But yeah, that mid control really opens it up. And I was really amazed when I shot the demo on it, which will be out on Wednesday, folks. So tune in for that. It's just so versatile. Like, that's my thing with muffs is I get bored in an hour and a half, and this I've already put in 8 hours on, and I'm loving it more.
That's awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that. It's a challenge to put something out there and then, you know, hold your breath and wait for the feedback to come back from certain people, especially influential people too, that, you know, they may strongly dislike one thing about it. You know, it could be something as frivolous as the graphics or the font used, or it could be something very serious. You know, one of the features in it didn't quite turn out quite right. And I just try to be open-minded about it and let the people help make my my products and make what I do even better.
Nice. Very nice. We have my lovely sister Amanda tuning in. Padded Pedal Room, Blackjack Guitar Nut, Music Therapy Laz, Mike Rohde. I did see a question here. Music Therapy Laz says, Tim, what is his favorite pedal that he's made or not yet made?
I still really like the Reverb. It seems to be the one that I get sucked into just playing around guitar for an hour or so when I'm testing them after I finish building them. It's something that's just pleasant and it's easy to listen to. It's easy to just get kind of laid back and caught away with things. As far as the Overdrive, I'm still pretty fond of the Honker. I've put a lot of time into it, and there's still, you know, still some things about that we that we may adjust a small amount with the fuzzy clipping side of it. Been talking to a few guys about that. But yeah, I definitely think the reverb is probably, actually I got one here. The reverb's probably my #1 favorite, and just seems to be the one that I have to wait the longest to get stuff for too.
Yes. Here. Oh, solo layout even. The Box of Hall, folks. Hell yeah.
So this isn't my original design. It's a design that was originally pulled together by Culture Jam, one of the gurus of the DIY community early on. And he put it out there for people to use commercially or non-commercially or whatever. He was super cool about it. And he even went ahead and used my original demo on his website as, hey, here's a version that some guy made. So I'm officially some guy in the pedal world, which is one step up from whatever I was before. Forrest Whitesides, I think, is forrestwhitesides.net or .com, something like that. But yeah, that was pretty cool when I come across that. And yeah, some guy, me.
Nice. Well, it's better than who? What? Definitely. Thanks everybody that's tuning in here. Too many to name already. And thank you, Brad Miller. Just posted TL Pedals Reverb store in the chat. So everyone check it out. All right, Eddie Van Haskell here. I see Eddie has the best questions, Tim, and you'll only get them on this channel. Because Eddie asks, are the pedals phlegm resistant?
They're truck resistant. They're the knobs are solid aluminum. So I do really want to do a like a destructive testing video on one of my pedals. I'm sure you guys have seen lots of those where they drop stuff out of helicopters and run over them with bulldozers and shoot them with guns and freeze them and stuff. But yeah, totally phlegm resistant, 100% phlegm resistant. So nice. Yeah, if you're right on the front edge of the stage, you can be rest assured that all your TL pedals are going to make it through the night, as long as you do.
I like that. I play in some crazy places at times, so I need that. Martin asks, and Martin's tuning in from Austria, favorite combination of one of your pedals with someone else's pedal?
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have to say my Rat and like some sort of delay. I've built a couple just simple delays, but I don't actually have a delay in my lineup. So the Rat or maybe one of the overdrives with a delay. I mean, who doesn't love delay?
I always have slapback going at all times. Robot Master Switch says, Ben Coombs mentioned what a nice fella Tim is. Tim is a nice fella. He's Canadian.
Thanks, Ben.
We're nice.
Yeah, eh?
Come on. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, keep these coming. Fruitcake Tony's in here. Terry Hines, Blackjack Guitar Nut, wishing well wishes. Eric C. Yes, Brian Landreth wanted to even mention how beautiful the wiring is inside.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I figure it's just like the little bit of work that the baker does on the top of the cake sort of thing. Just take a few extra minutes and try to tidy things up in case somebody ever takes the back off.
Nice. Let's see here. Eddie, or first of all, Milt, thank you very much, my friend. He says, nice. Just because. Nice. That'll buy a pint down at the pub. Nice. Eddie Van Haskell. Tim, please send me a pedal and I will shoot pucks at them for the durability test.
I would like to see him like shoot the pedals. Wouldn't that be a little more of a durability test?
Ooh, I
Like
like
a
that.
slap shot in one of the pedals. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do have some plans for that. I think it's going to be entertaining, if nothing else, and really disappointing if it fails early on.
Hey, Mitch Heyman.
I saw a question about modeling.
I saw JP page 2. Yes, mentioned if you're going to make a reverb pedal with modulation.
So my reverb, actually, if you pin the wet, like it's a wet dry balance type thing, and then it has a damper control to kind of just take some of the highs out of the wet signal only. If you pin the wet, like so it's full wet as it gets, it's about 50-50. There is a little bit of reverb, or sorry, of modulation just naturally in the circuit, which actually I think is part of what I like so much about it. I have a DeVille. Can't even remember what I got for an amp, but it's got the spring reverb tank, the Belton spring reverb tank in it, and the modules I use in my reverb actually come from the same factory that they build all of the reverb spring tanks for the Ampeg and Fender amps, and it's just, to me, it just adds that this tiny little bit of modulation in the wet side of it. I don't know. It makes it really pleasant, and it's different. That's the other thing about it. Is different than just a spring reverb. It's different than just a room type super clean digital reverb that a lot of companies offer. So.
Yes, Braden is mentioning a slight delay. Yeah, we are working with a bit of bandwidth issues tonight, Braden. So bear with us here, if you don't mind. Thanks. Let's see here. Mark Taft. Yeah, for sure. Mark, my faithful roadie, says, Ben, I don't mind keeping watch over your pedal board, guitars, etc. And yes, there have been more than a few sketchy places you've played. They're the only places that will hire me.
It's all about reputation, right?
Well, yeah. Long story short, yes.
Ouch.
Hello to Gurr. Yes, Randy Crooks. He says, hi, Ben and everyone, just got a Tele Thin Line and I lost time playing it.
Nice.
And Brian Landreth likes the boost pedal your daughter makes.
Yeah, Brian, it's pretty cool to have met you online and talking to you offline as well. It's pretty exciting, and Brielle's pretty excited to kind of learn about this a bit, and she's had a little bit of attention from some of the guys and their support, of course, too, that she's learning to build something and spend time working together on these sort of things and make a few bucks at the same time.
Right. Let's see. And hey to Mark Dillon out on the rock there in Newfoundland. Yeah, I could just see by the time your daughter takes her first electronics course and they'd be like, oh, you have to do it like this. And you'd be like, I already have distribution in 16 countries.
Yeah. She has more guitars than I do.
Nice.
Don't tell anybody, though.
Hey, if you can't spoil her. Oh, nice. Very nice.
I don't play it very often, though. She even put her own stickers on there, too. So, yeah, that's the hashtag legit, right?
That is legit. Hey, Vance Hicks, Bent Tom. Lovely Janice.
So Brad was asking how Brielle got into it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So when she was really little, she would help me I'll back it up another step. So I had built guitar pedals for 5 years and then stopped for about 2 or 2.5 years, and now I'm back for about a year. When she was little, she would always be like hanging around when I was building stuff, and I spilled a whole tray of capacitors one time, like a mixed tray with like different boxes all in the same tray, the whole tray. So I showed her how to read the numbers on the side of them and explained to her how to organize them. She sorted that whole tray. There must have been, I don't want to exaggerate, there was probably 100, there might have been 300. So somewhere between like 50 and 300 capacitors. She sorted them all by herself. And so I just kept keeping her involved because like she's super cool and I like having her around and learning to do stuff, instead of just in front of the TV or playing on, her iPad or whatever. And I think it's important to try to find some type of common ground. And that's how it all started.
Nice. And it's not, it's not a bad knowledge to have working on stuff, actually fixing things in a disposable society. And
fixing, yeah.
Hey, as long as we keep playing guitars, if she needs an extra few bucks, she can slap together a pedal and throw it up on eBay or something.
Definitely. Yeah. Fixing things too. I'm glad you mentioned that because I've always, always had to fix things. I never really had a whole lot of gear handed to me per se, although I've had a few people give me stuff over the years. But like as far as, I've had very, very few new sort of things. So I would buy something and on the cheap and fix it up or mod it or whatever. My first guitar was a busted up acoustic guitar I brought home on the back of a motorcycle with a buddy of mine in a garbage bag, and it was terrible. And but you learn to figure things out if it's something that you really, really want to do.
Awesome. I just got some good news about a friend of mine I'm not going to go into on air, but I'm just going to say I'm very relieved for those who may be aware of the situation outside of YouTube, but close to our home in our music community. Let's see. Brian Landra says she will destroy a Guitar Center salesman.
She will destroy. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Brian.
Let's see.
Pedals, like.
Yeah, it looks like Randy hit enter before he finished his comment there.
Is there coffee in those cups behind you on that deluxe?
No, those are just product placement. Available at Vibraprint.ca. Oh, nice. You can get a Canucks with Guitar shirt or coffee mug or face mask.
Nice. Does the coffee mug come with coffee?
Ooh, good question. It's shipping from BC, so it might be cold by the time it gets there.
Well, cold coffee is better than no coffee.
This is true. This is true.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of familiar people in the chat there. That's super cool.
It's a great community. Mark's saying, Ben, you and Rich used a fair amount of effects in that show. He's talking about a charity show we did for a women's shelter. We raised a bunch of money one night for a local women's shelter, and we kind of stole the show that night. Yeah. I think we were 45 minutes into the set, and they said, do you want to go instead of an hour? Do you want to do 2 hours? We're like, sure. Terry's saying, there you go, Canucks with Guitars coffee.
I see. Nice. I see Robot Master Switch sent off a parcel addressed to Apprentice Sound Engineer Brielle, LOL. I'm going to get her some business cards, actually. She's been like kind of hinting really hard at having some of her own cards. So that would be a pretty easy thing to do.
Nice.
She stuck all these stickers and folded all these boxes, eh?
There we go. What is your favorite effect pedal of all time?
What's your favorite effect pedal of all time? Well, I think about my favorite effect pedal of all time.
I like a Klon style.
Me too.
Something
The
magical
dilemma
about
with
it.
the Klon is I built a pile of them. Yeah, there really is. I built a pile of them, and after I had got to know a mutual friend of the creator, I really started having a moral dilemma about it. So it was something I kind of wrestled with for a long time. But I do reiterate that if people are really going to try to play professionally and get paid to play, to really go all in and find a KTR or even a good used KTR, and apparently um, that's Bill Finnegan, I think his name is. Anyway, I think
Yes.
that's his like main income streams. So yeah, I didn't really want to be pegged as trying to take something or stealing something from somebody, and he's kind of been in production and out of production, in production. So I'm poised to start up full production of building them when he does finally stop. Even though I know there's tons and tons and tons of people out there cloning them. But yeah, that would probably be my number one favorite pedal of all time. The first one I built worked perfectly the right off the soldering iron, so to speak. And I got goosebumps when I first plugged it in. It was an experience. It was cool.
Well, I may have to get you to build me one. I may, just have in the studio here for when I need that warmy goodness. Music Therapy Laz, thank you.
There, bootleg tapes.
Yeah. It's like that bootleg concert tape from the Alma Combo. Yeah. Laz, thank you very much, buddy. I do appreciate it. Yes, I'm bummed about Gearfest being canceled too. That would have been happening in less than a month. Ooh. Amp Top Demos asks, most underrated pedal.
So this is another one that really brings up a moral dilemma for me as well. I am a person of principles. Like generally speaking, I try not to like lie to people or take things from people or deceive people intentionally. Or as far as underrated pedals, I think a lot of the like super cheap clones that have come out of China over the last 5 or 10 years have been really, really good. I mean, their wiring sometimes is a bit sketchy and it could fail probably at any point in time. But as far as like audio quality and clarity to the original, I think, if you could get beyond just how they look or whatever, for somebody starting off, I think they're a pretty amazing thing. But the moral dilemma I have about it again is just super, super cheap rip-offs of originals, which I've done many myself, and how much of the money that people are paying for these are actually getting in the hands of the people that are putting them together.
Well said. I got a couple of new people in the chat here. Welcome. And if you dig this, please subscribe. Both Dash Rip Rock here says, I bought the King Klong from TL. It's really great. Built like a landmine. And Star Maker Welding, welcome as well. Tim's King Klon is a tone building monster.
Yeah.
Love seeing new names in here, folks.
Austin, yeah. So he's built some amp badges for me to use, and let me tell you, I'm pretty jacked about those. They look really, really good. I'm glad he made it on the live stream tonight.
Yeah, welcome, man. I saw those, and they are very cool amp badges, and Canadian made too, which is awesome. Do you have a Twitter account?
Not made in China.
True. Do you have a
No,
Twitter account?
just opened an Instagram account 2 nights ago after being haggled over not having one for a period of weeks. So I gotta spread my time out wisely, and that's the biggest challenge for me. Is sometimes I get caught up in the bottomless pit of the internet and online things, and at the end of the day, I have to make sure I guess spend my time as effectively as I can and keep caught up on what I'm supposed to be doing.
I agree, and I believe it was in PJ and the Beards chat where we were I believe my comment was, "What legit pedal builder is not on Instagram?" or something like that.
Thanks, man.
Nice. Hey, Hobo Roadie and everyone else joining in here. There, Brad Miller just posted the Instagram page for TL Pedals. Give it a follow, folks.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate that. I think you were a little part to blame on that whole Instagram thing as well. I saw Jason pull in here.
You did. I believe so. Randy Crooks.
Hey,
Ben,
yeah,
is
I
that a
see him.
Gibson
And
custom
Hobo
on your
Roadie, thanks for subbing, man.
Well, it weighs like a custom, Randy, but this is actually a Fibson. It's not real.
Fibson. Nice. I had one of those. Left it in the sun on the back deck for an afternoon.
How'd that work out?
It did not. It performed exactly like a Fibson should. I was able to close the case though and latch it. That worked.
Nice, nice. Oh. Boner Jams in like a champ in search of hot, sexy body pedal, need arousal into my ear holes through aggressive growls that rival guitar sounds from bands such as Gorgia, Macedon, and Slipknot. Hugs and kisses. Can you help him out, Tim?
Sounds like a Stinger Fuzz to me.
Yep. Robot Master Switch says MXR full bore metal with an OD in front. Whatever you are going to use, if you want to saturate that way, you know what? Shout out, let's go with the Stinger Fuzz into the LPD 87 to give you that Marshall tone, and the two of them together, it's going to be a growling machine. Because I'm assuming since we don't see LPD in the chat to defend himself, he must be off building pedals. Maybe the Ben Coombs signature overdrive. Who knows?
Actually working, yeah, that's funny.
He says, I'm on it. Thanks. And Beard is saying Stinger Fuzz rocks. Yes, it does. And if you can't wait until Wednesday to hear the Stinger Fuzz from me, check out PJ and the Beard's channel. They put up a wicked demo of the Stinger Fuzz.
Oh, yeah. It was great. I really like the Believe, I think they put in there for an octave up effect with it. That was super cool. What a great idea, too. Like, outside the box to really push that over the top. Scott Udaman. Udaman, Scott.
Hello
Scott's
and welcome to Scott.
Owner, the most recent proud owner of a new shiny Stinger Fuzz.
Nice. Yes, the Stinger Fuzz with the telly sounded very good. I agree with Brian Landreth on that. Keep those questions coming, folks.
Robot Master Switch was asking about t-shirts. T-shirts or stickers or donair sauce pictures. I do think donair sauce and sour cream should be served in pictures. I think that's a great idea. Definitely. T-shirts. I have some T-shirts, and you have some stickers. We just need some donair sauce.
That can be done. Fortunately, I live basically next to a military town, so there's always a good donair place around here.
Nice. Last time I went
Voodoo
to
Lab
donair, it was
Micro
like,
Vibe.
I overdid it.
Hey, Sean Zimmerman.
Hey, Sean, man. Thanks for checking in, man.
He's bold, Tim. We got to give Brian credit. He's bold.
Sure, man.
The key is
Brian,
to figure
you're
out.
contending for my number.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, you're contending with Scott on my #1 customer. So, yeah, it's certainly a possibility. Any plans for an Uncle Bry signature pedal? He didn't have to write just joking.
That's
unless
true.
he's just joking, by which I mean, haha, yeah.
Hey, there's my cousin Doug, down and back with Corn Doug. Everyone should check out his channel. Great stuff.
Terry, GG, and G mentioned about a fuzz with an octave effect. I do have a octave that I've built. It is an octave up, just like the Believe, and it is a one-trick pony, so to speak. I suspect it's probably the exact same circuit underneath.
I always prefer, I used to use a blended octave down as an always on in my signal. That was to seek a very heavy tone. And that was with the MXR full bore metal with an octave down blended in.
You ever tried the, I think it's the Blue Box MXR 2-knob dealie with the fuzz
Yes.
and octave?
Possibly the most useless pedal I've ever used in my life.
Oh, yeah. It's like
unwieldy.
Boss compressor, the second most useless. Scott asked about amps. Yeah, I've got an amp that I'm just about done a prototype of, and it's right behind me. Just trying not to kill myself while I unplug it. When I first plugged it in to test it, it was the first time ever working with high voltage for me. I actually brought a fire extinguisher downstairs with me. Yeah, it's real.
Nice.
I mean, it's not real pretty yet because it's not in a chassis, but it's, you know. So this is a considered a Blackface Deluxe. Oh yeah, there you go. Like a light version. And there's no tremolo, there's no reverb. It's just one channel, super clean, about 18 watts. I think it'll go up to about 22 or 24 watts there. I haven't done the final math on it yet, but I wanted something that I could put in like a 110 or a 112 combo that you could run an extension speaker, like a 212 or a 410 is what I got here. That you could haul it around and really just built for running a pedal board, not so much with the extra bells and whistles that you would, have even the reverb. I built a reverb pedal, right? So putting reverb in the amp would be kind of counterproductive unless I put my reverb circuit in the amp, which has been something I may offer that option on. So it's certainly, I mean, I've told people before, I'll build dishwashers if it pays the bills, but building like guitar gear is so much more rewarding and so much more fun. I mean, the people I've met doing this has definitely made it worthwhile.
For sure. I'd be curious to hear that amp, because if that amp sounds half as good as your pedals, people are going to be in for a treat.
It's so clean, man. Like, I've never played. Like the oldest amp I've ever played, as far as a decent tube amp, is my 91 or 92 410. It's the DeVille Blues DeVille, and I really like it, and wouldn't get rid of it. It's super heavy, so nobody's carting it away out of my house. But like, it just blew my mind. I still reminisce when I first started building pedals. I had to come up with a decent amp to test my pedals with, and I was using a Laney Cub 10. It was just a plain little 6v6 tube amp with no reverb or anything in it. I just upgraded the speaker in it, and it had a solid state rectifier in it. I loved it. I would buy it back if I could find it again, just because I was so pleased with how well it worked, and just simple,
I hear you on that. That's because that's what I look for in an amp. Nice, super clean, neutral,
How do you put a southern drawl in a pedal? Oh man. Is that the twang?
Ah, yes, that's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's really in the hands of the player.
Yeah. Get a nice compressor and a little bit of spank from a telly, and you're all set. You don't really need anything else, right?
Exactly. Scott's asking about a delay pedal in the future.
I've built one before. There was a demo on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's still there or not. It was a 300 millisecond. It was a digital delay, but it had a modulation built into it, and like it would let the tails decay like an analog pedal. It was only about 330 or 360 milliseconds. So really, for the cost of what I had to put into it for parts and time, I really couldn't top the either the like any of the Electro Harmonix Deluxe or the Memory Toy, even, or the MXR. What's the MXR?
The carbon copy
they build.
Yeah, carbon copy.
I don't necessarily think it just making another of the same thing doesn't make sense to me, unless it's my reproduction of some of the older circuits, like the vintage Rat or the original 808.
Very
Have you
cool.
picked a speaker for your amps yet?
Yeah.
I've always been a huge fan of the Celestion Vintage 30. I think it's great. I know not everybody loves them, but for the size of the speaker and the power that it'll handle, I think it's it's one of the top for the price. I think it's one of the top speakers. It's about $200 Canadian, I think, which is for a good speaker. There's lots of cheap speakers.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Yes. JP page 2, I have seen pictures of your 60 Fender concert and 66 Gibson and Epi amps. Quite jealous. He's got some nice tone in his tone shack, that's for sure. Hey, Metalhead Hippie. Any plans on a looper?
No, probably not. At least not in the works for the next year or so, because been backed up with with maintaining the builds that are being ordered, plus trying to develop the ones I already have in the works, and then fine tuning them so that I don't have to keep revisiting the circuits.
I agree. Where did I see it? Brian is asking about a tremolo pedal.
Brian was asking. Yeah, I used to build a tremolo. It was called the Tremo, Tremo, and got the circuit boards on their way today. So should have that done in probably 4 to 6 weeks or so.
Nice.
I think you were excited about that, weren't you?
Very excited. Very excited. Yeah, I believe you showed me a photo and I said, count me in. I'll do a demo on that.
The old ones. Yeah. The cool thing about that circuit is there was a way to bypass the tremolo and just use the preamp side of it, and it was reasonably warm and clean booster. So again, another multi-use pedal that if somebody gets bored of it, they can just flip a switch and just use it as a booster instead of the tremolo.
There's Mr. Paul.
Paul. Hey, Paul.
Tim's process for R&D.
Nice. Well, I just send a memo down to the R&D department and they just run with it, right?
Sure.
What you should be asking about is Tim's business plan, because to keep doing this sort of thing, you have to remain organized and pay your bills and stay profitable and develop new products while maintaining a certain level of customer service. It's certainly a juggling act, and it's super, super easy to get like sidetracked on things that really don't matter in the big picture. And I learned a lot like in the first 5 or 6 years of doing it, and just trying to enjoy doing it, I think, is the best way I can describe it this time around.
I like that. I like that a lot. Hey to the Dogpa and Half Ace. Robot Master Switch was asking, any plans to offer a DIY kit, which would free up some time because you don't have to build it. You just throw it all in a bag.
So that's something I've really wrestled with for a while now. I've seriously considered it, but there's so many really good DIY kit guys out there already that to me it doesn't seem real productive for me to compete with them when they're already doing such a good job of it. One of my favorite, well, there's two really, but JD Sleep of General Guitar Gadgets. I've learned so much from him and his stuff, and he's super cool. Yeah, like he renamed one of his pedals based on a comment that I had, made to him one time, and he, I don't know, he seems to share a lot of the same values as we do, and I think they live in the country, and he mentioned about if you do find my phone number somewhere, and you're calling to get information about a pedal, you might be able to get my wife's mac and cheese recipe, but we really aren't staffed to handle that sort of thing. So yeah, I would suggest if you want a DIY kit, check out General Guitar Gadgets, or another one is Kevin, what's his last name? I can't remember his last name. Vanderkeith or something like that, of Aeon Electronics. Like they both build just circuit boards only or full-on kits, and they're both really good at what they do, and they've both treated me really good over the years. So there's really no need for me to get into that because I like both of those guys so much, and I really think they're a good place to get that stuff.
I will also add, as far as cool kit builders, Lawrence Petros Design and Zach from Mythos Pedals has a couple cool kits as well.
So they both build kits, do they?
They also
Or
have
they
kits
both
available.
supply kits?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Wow.
So,
So I'll
if
second that. Yeah.
maybe you find a cool little overdrive circuit, right? You're like, oh, that's a nice little overdrive, and then nothing too extensive, and that becomes a kit. But just thinking that you're a Canadian company, if you did develop a kit, I do know a storefront that's looking to carry a kit for retail. So if that's something you ever want to get into, hit me up and I can put you in touch with those folks. We'll say that much on air because I don't want to forget off air to mention that. So
yeah, we certainly could. There's no reason why we couldn't do that. It's once it's set up and designed and the bugs are all worked out of the design, then yeah, it's pretty easy. When's Brielle's fuzz hit? We love Tim's. Nice. Yeah, Brielle's building a fuzz face and should have the parts in. The way we do that, just so you guys all know, the way we do that, because I think it's important that people understand not just like the what, but the why. Like with Brielle's pedals, she keeps 100% of the proceeds, from the sale of the pedal, and we just write it off. We just write it off as part of the company, and it's just part of part of my intention of trying to motivate her to do it, but also to give her, the skills and to help teach her some of that. So she's going to build a silicone-based fuzz face, and then we'll let her do whatever sort of artwork sort of thing on it as well. So we should have the first few of those sometime this week, and we'll get some pictures once we get one made up. We'll get some pictures posted and that sort of thing on our website and on Reverb. Excuse me.
Boner Jam says, in all seriousness, I need an overdrive or more aggressive pedal. Honestly, dude, if you want aggressive, look at that LPD 87. It's like a Jose modded Marshall in a box. It's pretty damn heavy. That's what I use for all my really heavy tones. And it stacks well with others too, which is nice. Also, Brad Miller just wanted to throw it out there. I've built both the LPD K1 and the Mythos Fuzz, so there is a market.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that.
I see. Welcome, Electra Omega. Ooh, have you been messing around with the micro tube or the new tube, we'll say even the new tube technology?
I haven't. I've seen some stuff about it. And I mean, between having built as many pedals as I have and learning about building tube amps and modding tube amps and those type of circuits, it's certainly something that would fit in right in there nicely. My only reluctance about that is if for having to use high voltage in a pedal, that kind of changes things a little bit. And it's just the liability side of it with the pedals versus just a low voltage DC type circuit there. So it's not out of the question. But
it can be done, yes.
Need a little bit more research first. Yeah.
You can definitely, when you said up the voltage, I just realized Lawrence's 87, I think he's running 6 FETs in it and they're running at like 24 volts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I'm talking about specifically is like a 200 or 300 volts and up on like a tube amp type thing.
Ah, yes, those fun ones. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that shorting out when you stomp on it.
Even as a No. The Klon even has a power pump in it, which is part of what gives it so much clean headroom. And it runs at, I think, 16 volts, something like that. 16 or 18 volts.
Nice.
I will make a note about it there, just so I can dig.
Yes, Brad Melvis just says, I think the new tube is not a typical high voltage as a standard tube. I would think so too, because it does seem to be, I don't know, a hybrid of an LED and a tube somehow. I don't know. Thank you, Terry.
Cool.
Do you offer any 2-in-1 pedals like an overdrive and chorus combo or a fuzz and overdrive?
So the 2-in-1 I had built for the longest time has been the King Klon. So it was a King-a-tone or half of a King-a-tone on one side and the Klon on the other side, which was kind of a 2-in-1 deal. And it was a bit bigger enclosure. The 1790 NS or the 1590 XX, if you're looking at the Hammond size series. So it was about 30% bigger in every direction than regular double enclosure box, the 1590 BB size. That was the only 2-in-1 that I built. I mean, as people develop their products and go with like the surface mount components or smaller values, like physically smaller size components, then they'll, cram more stuff into one box. That was the only one I did with that. And don't really have any plans to do more 2-in-1s. I mean, it's good for me because I'm able to put two designs together in one package. But I'm not entirely convinced that that's always the best for the end user, because if you like one side and you don't like the other side, how can you justify having a $300 pedal sitting on your board eating up that much real estate when you're only using one side of it?
True.
That's my dilemma.
Charles 75N asks, what is the pedal you're dying to create?
So back, this has all been kind of building since I was quite young. I started soldering on my back deck as a kid. I mean, I remember burning my hands on my dad's soldering iron. I don't know how old I would have been, but probably 9 or 10, maybe 12. But as far as like fixing and modding and building pedals, I had gone to an auction with a buddy of mine and bought a great big box full of busted pedals and ended up working my way through those. This is going somewhere. It's not just a complete pointless rabbit trail. I went through and like fixed every one of those and sold them, and ended up coming ahead. I think I paid like $20 for the whole box, and I think there was probably like 10 or 20 pedals in it. And I think the first one, or one of the first ones that I fixed, was the an original deluxe Memory Man. And I think somewhere in my future, an analog delay. It's probably going to be expensive. It's probably going to take a long time to build, and it's probably going to have a whole bunch of really hard to find parts in it. But like a really good analog delay with tap tempo, that would probably be like the very pinnacle of what I would work towards, at least until I tried to get into the DSP or programming or digital effects, that type of thing.
Very cool. Hello to Mickey Stedelmeyer, True Tech, and Marsman tuning in. Let's see here. I just missed it. Can some pedals be daisy chained, and are some pedals better with 9-volt batteries like fuzz? Well, according to Mr. Petross, no pedal needs to run off a battery, so he doesn't even include battery leads in a lot of his pedals. So there's that. Your thoughts, Tim?
I stopped putting battery, like the battery. What do you call that? The clip. I stopped
Sure.
putting them in my pedals like years ago. I think after like the second or third year in, and my theory on it was anybody that was like buying a hand wired pedal for what they were paying for it already had some type of pedal power supply. I've only been asked for it once since then, and that's been like almost 600 pedals. So
Nice.
it was easier
Nice.
just to send the guy a power supply than it was to put a jack in it, so, or a battery clip in it. So
Sure. And to answer boner jams, I think I've done all three. And sometimes good can happen after 2 a.m., but it's a rare occasion. And I definitely think, yeah, usually no good. Robot Master, the soldering iron gets sweeter the hotter it gets.
yeah, I've wrecked a few soldering irons, believe it or not, and I haven't got any real like super high tech expensive gear as far as soldering irons go. Scott was asking about an envelope filter style pedal, like a, is that like the baseballs? Something like that.
I'm trying to say, sort of like similar to an auto wah, but not.
No, I haven't built any of those. Although I had a lead on some wah enclosures, and I think I like building different stuff too. I think if I could come up with a good wah pedal, like with the click on off volume pedal wah, I think that would be pretty cool. Even if I only built a few of them, um, I don't know. I want to build a pedal power supply too, like the I can't remember the name of the one pedal power, something like that.
All right. See you, Martin. It's 3 a.m. in Austria, so I get it, buddy. Have a good night, my friend.
Super cool. I really think that's awesome that he's checking in from there. I just sent a King Klon to Sweden. I think that was the last pedal I sent over in his area.
Nice. I was going to mention too,
Area like
if you get wah enclosures, can I really recommend you build a phaser into one of them?
ooh, an adjustable phaser.
Hell yeah.
So the
Like the Phase 100
the depth. Yeah. The
or the rate.
the
You want adjustable rate.
the the rate on the sweep. Yeah. Yeah, because the MXR had built those special little rubber knobs that went on top of that the knob itself, so you could adjust it with your foot.
Yeah. And they did a few in like a wah enclosure. I thought it was the Phase 100. And it was awesome because you could have your nice
Yeah, I
slow
think you're
sweep
right.
and then you just mash it for super fast stuff. Really cool stuff.
Yeah. I've done a couple like one-off uh, odd mods like that for people where they were like, okay, I want a phaser or a chorus or a delay, but have the have a like a momentary switch that they could hold down and just let that rate go full on, and then
Mm-hmm.
it would be more of like just an effect that they could let self oscillate, and but not something that the general community would be just burning to have, sort of thing. So
Yes, Terry.
sounds
Kind of, yeah,
piqued
the
my
Roto
interest
Vibe,
here.
Dunlop Roto
Yes,
Vibe, another one
seriously.
for that.
Brian's serious this time. He's got a pedal idea.
Nice. Hey, Pete Bialik, good to see you. Mark Taft asks, did I ever get my new soldering iron? Not yet. I borrowed Rich's for doing some work a couple weeks ago. My soldering iron works okay for circuit boards. It doesn't work good for soldering onto a trem claw.
A what? Trem claw?
Yeah, I had to solder a ground wire onto a trem claw.
Oh, on the tremolo itself.
Yes, the Dogpa. Veraphase MXR Custom Shop Phaser.
Where does a vibe go in the chain?
Near the front. Most vibes like to be near the front, I find.
Red green approved.
Yep. All right, keep those questions coming, folks.
Yeah, I have
Anything?
different soldering irons. I have different soldering irons that I use for different things. Like I have a fairly heavy, I think it's a 40 or 60 watt soldering iron that I use for soldering like jacks, or if there's a jack that's already attached to an enclosure because you need that extra heat. I've got a
Right.
small little 15 watt that I use for like really tiny stuff, like if I was repairing or removing a surface mount component. That's another dilemma, is at what point does a pedal producer try to come up with a way to produce some of his designs with surface mount components?
Let me think. Zach from Mythos just started switching over to it last year. So I guess it depends on how much time you have, right? Like if you can't keep up with orders, I think he said it quadrupled his speed of production or something like, or more, by switching to the surface mount.
Mm-hmm. I had run a survey, like one of those online surveys where I could select all my own questions with all of my customers around Christmas time. And the general consensus was that they valued my pedals being hand wired and being through hole components. So I could see the point where I would maybe need to offer some of the designs in that way, but still have like the original custom shop sort of thing.
I agree, Brian. Coming in like a champ. He says the Weller soldering station is a nice piece of equipment. Indeed.
When you get two of them, send me one there because I would like to have one too. Scott, you can borrow my shirt there. That's good.
Nice. Well, we'll probably go about another 10 minutes here, folks. So keep those questions coming in. Paul Ewing said, if you're going to do a kit, do a one knob fuzz, about 8 parts, he figures.
All right, Paul, I'm going to write you down as the first order for that. I do have a simple fuzz design that, it could be a printed circuit board and everything. And just the biggest challenge, I think, with the kit is when people get stuck. I like I like really trying to provide the customer service that I can with my pedals, and with the kits. Everybody's kind of starting off at a different place. So part of what gives me a bit of anxiety about putting a kit out there is, if people get stuck, you definitely want to support them and help them get through building it too. But Paul, I got you down as number one.
Nice. And the scary part about Brian's comment here is that's all she wears, folks. And if one of my mods could put in a link to Tim's store, I think it looks like Boner Jams is looking to look at some TL pedals. So if someone could put the Reverb store or the website in here. Thank you, Brian Landreth.
We have both tlpedals.com and tlpedals.ca, so you can find us pretty easy.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. Paul. The point of hand wire pedals are easy to get repaired. Yep. Or mod. What I've noticed in some of the Electro Harmonics pedals over the last five or so years is some of their classics that they've gone surface mount. They've left pads for common mods that people do to them, and also have like full-size caps along the audio path. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it too.
Yeah, I agree. Boner Jams. Anywhere I can purchase a Nordiques with guitars shirt. I don't know. I might have to come up with a special shirt for that.
Yeah, definitely got to make one of those.
That'd be cool. Very nice. Everyone talking to each other there. Awesome stuff. No. So, do you have anything new in the works that you might want to talk about?
Yeah, the two main new things that are shortlisted right now is Brielle's Fuzz Face. It should be done next weekend or the following week, and the Tremolo, which will be sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, pending how much wait time we have with the unpredictable shipping nature of things right now. So
right,
that's
awesome.
That's the short term. Yep.
Awesome. I dig that. And with that time frame, that'll be like just as I'm getting over the honeymoon phase with your initial batch you sent me, then I'm going to be lusting for more. And you'll be like, hey, Ben, got this? I'll be like, Tim. Yes.
Yeah. Why did you do that to me?
Yes, the dog putt, and that has real LM308 chips in Tim's Rat clone.
Yeah, I found a supplier in Russia that had some old, and they sound really good. Like I've tried a bunch of different LM308 and chips, and yeah, they sound really good. So expecting some more in soon. I got to get one of these two to play around with. So this is the 808, the TL808.
Oh, right.
And I've included in this version of it. So it's like the original 808. I've got a demo on YouTube with the Maxon circuit, with this circuit next to it. So this has what's called the fat mod, so that allows more low end through, and it also has the high gain mod. So it's got 10 times the gain of the traditional 808 circuit. So if you controlled it between say like 9 o'clock up to 12 o'clock would be about where the normal 808 zone would be. So it had way more gain, and it also goes more clean as well. So still has the input and the output buffers, but it's a true bypass pedal. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'd love to give that a whirl for sure. I'm already looking down, where can I make room on the pedal board? Because yeah, I dig it. Like we were even talking off air, I was really impressed with your stuff right out of the box, my initial impression, and I just fall in love with them more the more I play with them. So it's really great stuff. And folks, I cannot tell you enough. You definitely check out TL Pedals Canada. It's some great stuff. And I'm going to say, for handmade wired pedal, that's beautifully designed, these things are damn affordable too in the market. You've placed yourself in a real nice spot in that market, Tim.
Well, it's good to hear that too, because that's the challenge, is like, how do you sell things for enough that you can keep building them, but not so much that people are, looking down their nose at, what you're doing or who you are or this or that. Like, I realize I'm just starting off. I've built enough pedals now that I know what not to do for the most part. And as time goes on, I'm able to set myself up to, have a retailer or something and still have the same price, or put them on sale on Reverb, like Reverb likes to do every now and then too. So
nice. Just seeing a few things here. Scott's loving all your pedals. Paul Ewing was saying that your 808 is all over the chat forums as a must-have pedal. Boner Jam says, do you ship to the motherland, ... Connecticut?
yeah, we ship everywhere.
Nice. Yes, worldwide, folks, worldwide.
That sounds political.
So there. Do you have anything to add, my good man?
I just want to take an opportunity and thank Paul Ewing, because like Paul has always seemed to check in with me at times when things are just stressful or busy or discouraging. And man, like, Paul's really been the one to help get what we're doing out there, because I've worked really hard to try to come up with a good, solid, quality product, and take the time to build it well and to build it so it'll last 50 years and not have to come back for repair. And
sure.
Yeah, Paul's always been so encouraging. So yeah, thanks, Paul. You rock, buddy. Say hi.
I agree.
To Joy too.
Thanks, Paul, because I don't know if I would have heard of Tim otherwise. Actually, that's not true, because we met in Josh Scott's live chat one day. Yes. So
yeah, that was kind of cool too.
What kind of reverb is the box of Hall? Is it a Hall reverb?
So yeah, it is a Hall reverb, but it has modulation to make it simulate more of a analog type reverb. So it's like a bunch of Bucket Brigade in a module built by the same company that builds all of the spring tanks to simulate some of their spring reverb tanks in a compact form. So to my knowledge, they're not putting them in any amplifiers. It's exclusively for either pedals, or some people have, or companies have used them as a Hall effect in like surround, not true surround sound, because it's not 4 channels, but it is a two channel module. So they're using them in things like TVs, things with 2 speakers as well.
Awesome. Well, I definitely want to thank Tim for joining me this evening for the Sunday night hang. If you just want to hold the line for me, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Those that were new, thank you. And I hope if you had a good time, you please subscribed. Those that returned, you know I love you. Those who donated tonight to the channel, thank you very much. I will be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern with a live edition of Connects with Guitars. I don't know why I said live edition. I've never done a pre-recorded version of it, but hey, it'll still be live. Live Q&A, live jams, and a mystery unboxing. I got this in the mail on Friday, I think. I don't know who sent it, so I figured I'd wait and I'll open it up tomorrow, but I suspect it's somebody in the chat. I don't know where it came from, but what, Ev? Okay, sure. So there we are, folks. Until next time, I'm Ben. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Karma's real. I'm living the dream. Tim's living the dream. Doug's sick of me talking about his wife. Cheers, rock on, and be good to each other, folks. Bye-bye.